I haven't made a video in a while, I know, guys, and I apologize about that. The game's been so fleeting lately, you know. Now there's ARG format and ARG Nights is coming up, and it's summer times was my least favorite time of the year. I got a lot of stuff going on. Uh, I gotta find another job soon, you know, just etc. stuff. But I don't want to talk your ears off. I'm gonna make this video really quick, really simple. I really want to cover some of the pendulums that are coming out in the next couple of sets. Some of them are very good as pendulum cards, uh, kind of to help address situations with other pendulum decks like Cleese. I mean, of course, they have Wavering Eyes, and of course, they have Spell Shattering Arrow and Fairy Wind to help take care of the pendulum scales if you have an issue with those, as long also with like MST. But I want to be able to search for a pendulum off of Wavering Eyes. I also want the pendulum archetype as a whole to be better instead of just having like certain decks being able to use it, like Cleese. And now we have the Magician deck, which is pretty cool, but you know, you can't really mix it really with anything. And there's not really a lot of pendulum monsters that are just good by themselves. A lot of them even have the restriction where you can only special summon Clifford monsters, or you can only special summon Zephyr monsters, or you know, some type of ridiculous restriction. So I want generic good pendulum cards that people could play just because they're so good, that it would also introduce more pendulum summoning, like tuners, like cards like Krebons and even Airbellum and Gale were really game breaking cards when they came out because they were just so good on their own that it just promoted synchro summoning in the quickest way possible. Even exceeds like there wasn't really a whole lot of really good ones out of the gate, but they're so splashable and just the way that they naturally work that people played them, even Utopia and Grinosaurus in the beginning. And the really first competitive exceeded deck we had was Dino Rabbit, unfortunately. But later on, they just came up with so many more, and it became the way of the game. And I want pendulums. They've been out for a year now, and the only thing we really had competitively is Cliffords, which is its own thing, and is not able to. We haven't had any really generic good pendulums. So let me hurry up and cover the two that I wanted to cover were, I believe it's Vector, the Pendulum, Dracoruler, and Eccentric Archfiend. Now, uh, the Dracoruler, I know it took me 3 minutes to get to this point, but basically, I like that it's a normal, so you can search it with Summoner's Art, and it's not a weak monster. I mean, it's 1850, but that's better than nothing. And basically, it just negates your opponent's pendulum zones, like their effects. So it would turn off your opponent's Insight Magician, and all those magicians it would turn off. It would turn off Clifford Scout. It's basically a floodgate for pendulums. And it's also a pendulum monster, which helps promote the archetype. So I really do like that because I feel like the game needs to have more cards to help promote archetypes, or that people can at least consider sideboarding. And it also would promote their sales. Honestly, I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Even a generic draw card, if it was a pendulum monster, it would just skyrocket the playability of pendulums. Yet Konami hasn't jumped on this board yet. They're making them very slowly. Eccentric Archfiend, which we're gonna get very soon, is another good pendulum monster. As you can see, once in a pendulum zone, you can pop a spell card with it as long as you destroy it also. Or as a monster, you attribute it to destroy a monster, so it's either an exiled force or it's an MST from the pendulum zone. I think that's really cool. I know that this is probably the most flexible one as far as a side deck goes because it has multiple uses. So I don't know. I just want to make a video highlighting what I think Konami should really get on. The cards like Eccentric Archfiend and the Vector Pendulum, the Dracoruler, which almost sound like Dragon Ruler now that I think about it. Either way, these cards are the type of cards we need in order to promote the game. And that's really all that I wanted to cover. So let me know what y'all think about what would be some really good generic pendulum cards that we would just be forced to play. Um, Even if they had a pendulum monster that said something like, let me see, if it was a pendulum monster that had the effect that said negate the effects of dark monsters, and it was a pendulum monster, that would be like, I want to say a floodgate for BA because of course they have cards like Lake, but if they didn't have a Lake, unless they render a Genki Break, there would be nothing they can do to stop your pendulum monster or a pendulum monster. Like recently, they had two Necros pendulum monsters that aren't even that good. If it did something like, if it was a Necros pendulum monster you could search, I mean that's a bad example because it's a ritual archetype, but you get where I'm going here. Like even something like a Karkard pendulum monster or like a once per turn, some type of game state altering pendulum monster that just did it by itself. I think that could be really good instead of restricting them to just only helping out their own archetypes. Just like the tuners, even cards like Pashul, Debris Dragon. Oh, that did it. Imagine if we had a pendulum to let you get a pendulum from the extra deck. Like stuff like that is just amazing. I wish. I mean, sure you would have your restrictions, but I wish something like that would be brought out. Anyway, this is Dinas Kribo. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm sorry for not being more attentive on the video field. I'll try to get on that. This is Dinas Kribo signing out.